Hello, my name is David Gotts and I'm the founder of International China Concern. It's a really great pleasure to have the opportunity to be able to share an update on the work of ICC. For those that don't know, International China Concern began 27 years ago and has been reaching out to China's most vulnerable children. These are children with disabilities. And children with disabilities, irrespective of whether they've been abandoned into a welfare centre or whether they're being cared for by their families, face incredible challenges. They face the challenges of isolation, exclusion, poverty, and systemic prejudice. Well, 2020 has been a challenging year for every single one of us. COVID, of course, burst onto the scene in China at the beginning of January. This presented great problems for ICC's work. The hundreds of children that ICC serves, many of them are very vulnerable with fragile health. And we knew this meant that if they contracted COVID, that many of them would end up in hospital and possibly even die. And so our projects had to go into lockdown. Working with the Chinese government, we had to lock down every single one of ICC's projects. And this meant that our amazing Chinese staff had to make the very difficult decision as to whether they would remain home with their husbands and wives and children, or whether they would be chosen to lock down with ICC's children. It was amazing to see over 80 of our Chinese staff make the decision to be locked down with ICC's children. We didn't know how long this lockdown would go for, but it actually went for 45 days, meaning that many of them didn't see their own husbands, wives and children for 45 days. This demonstrated the amazing commitment and passion that ICC staff have for the children that we serve. Well, ICC's work also continues to grow and go from strength to strength. 8 years ago, ICC began a programme called our Family Partners Programme. This programme reaches out to families that have children with disabilities and that continue to care for them in their home. Take a look at this video and hear a little bit about the amazing work that we're doing with families in China.
Every day, Tan Zhiguo's father carries him downstairs from their home on the 6th floor of a Changsha apartment building, down to the busy street where Mr. Tan has a little shop. Tan Zhiguo is 16 years old. He has cerebral palsy that limits his ability to move and communicate. Caring for their son has been extremely challenging for the Tans.
现在都还马马虎虎，就是怕以后啊，他随着他年龄的增大了，他的身体越来越不好。
The Tans are just one of more than 100 families that the Family Partners Program is helping right now. Some families include parents struggling to make ends meet while they care for a child with a severe disability. In other families, grandparents are doing their best to care for a child after the parents have abandoned their responsibility. People like Mrs. Ha, who was determined to care for her granddaughter Lala when no one else would.
This child was so miserable, but she's still a precious life. You couldn't just give her up. So I didn't care what others said. I never gave up.
Jiajia's parents aren't around either, so his 70-year-old grandparents do their best to care for him and his 5-year-old sister.
我们现在好苦好苦，我想起来呢，都不知道，有时候也是这样的。我们刚想起来好心寒的，就是说现在居区都没有，到外面租房子住。
Each day, Jiajia's grandmother takes him to the FPP service center where he receives special education and one-on-one therapy. The journey is 2 hours each way, but it's worth it because the results are significant. Whether providing programs and classes in our service center or visiting families in their homes, FPP is giving life-changing tools and support to people who desperately need it. David Bondi and his team have been working with Zhiguo on a regular basis. They helped him get a wheelchair, and therapists have trained his parents on ways to keep their son in good health. The young man now has the potential to start using computers to communicate and explore his world.
ICC's Family Partners Programme currently serves around 300 families, And in the coming months, as you heard in the video, we're going to be expanding that to impact the lives of even more. We've had a request from the Changsha City Civil Affairs to help reach out to the 7,500 families that have children with disabilities in Changsha. This presents an amazing opportunity to take hope into the lives of families that are struggling and are desperate. When we do that, we see incredible change. We already have testimonies of marriages that had broken down under the pressure of raising a child with a disability, now reconciling as ICC provides support. And of course, we see the transformation of the children that we serve. Another aspect of ICC's work that continues to grow is our vocational training and life skills programme. ICC has been offering vocational training and life skills programmes for many years, but recently we've expanded our work and begun to launch small businesses for youth and young adults with disabilities. This enables them to have the dignity of employment, it provides training opportunities, and also creates inclusion as people in the community begin to work together and to meet those young adults that have disabilities that work in these programmes. I'd like to introduce the Little Ark project to you, a project started a few months ago that is providing employment for 6 to 7 young adults and allowing them to become part of the local community. Take a look.
Hi, I am here at the grand opening of the Little Ark. The Little Ark is a brand new project for ICC. This was thought up by Karen Lee, who's back here someplace. She's one of our volunteers who had the idea to give our young people the opportunity to learn a skill, to have community involvement, and maybe make a little bit of money. So she set up the Little Ark right here at the Changsha Welfare Center, and it's been a big hit, serving coffee and popcorn, and we invite everyone to come down and have some. I'm going to have some coffee right now. Here you go, sweet.
So encouraging, isn't it? To see the lives of these young adults, then gaining confidence and having the dignity that that employment brings. Of course, ICC's work with children that have experienced abandonment also continues. We still work with hundreds of children in welfare centres that are now living in our ICC-managed small family-style group homes. No longer in institutional care, these children grow and flourish each and every day as they receive care from their caregivers, their ICC caregivers, but also receive education, medical care, physical and occupational therapy, and of course vocational training, putting them on that pathway to becoming the people that God has called them to be. Just recently, ICC was able to receive 18 new children that had been in the care of Chinese welfare centres. Take a look at this short video and see the transformation that happens in just 6 short months. It's amazing to see the difference, isn't it, in the faces of those children. Just 6 short months and those children begin to change so much and you begin to see joy emerging. It's like a flower that has been in darkness, that is closed up, and then when it's brought into the warmth of the sun, it begins to blossom. Well, all of the work that ICC does is only possible with your support. I want to just take a moment and express my sincere appreciation for the way your church is involved in supporting the work that ICC does. When you stand with ICC, you enable us to bring this kind of hope and this kind of transformation into the lives of China's most vulnerable children. As we look ahead to 2021, we trust and we pray that you will continue to stand with us as we do this important work, this work that comes straight from the heart of God. So thank you again for your support this year, and may God bless and keep each and every one of you.